Greetings everyone, this is Jim Todd with Song Surgeon, and in this week's video tip we're going to take a look at the tempo functionality found in version 5. So let's just walk through each of the functions here, or each of the different buttons, and explain to you what they do and how they work. So first of all, once we open a song we detect the tempo, and I think you probably all know this by now. It puts the tempo over here, 77 BPM, and that 77 BPM is equal to 100%. And that's what we have here. So as you currently change the tempo up and down, now you're changing by a percent at a time. And the tempo label down here shows you that you're a percent at a time. Now, if you click this and open the submenu, you'll see that we have both percentage and BPM values here. And the one that's selected is highlighted in green. So if you select the BPM value, it then becomes highlighted in green, and the value that you see here then becomes the BPM value. So now we are reporting or showing the value as a BPM. And now as you change the tempo up or down, you're changing by a BPM at a time. Whereas previously, when this is selected, you're changing by a percent at a time. When you select the BPM and it's highlighted in green, you're changing by a BPM at a time. And you can tell that as well, because as you change the BPM, the beats per minute, by one, we go from 101.30 to 102.60. So that change in a BPM changes the percentage by 1.3%. So this is the first thing I'd like to point out, that you can toggle and you can either use BPM as your default units or you can use percentage as your default units. Now, that being said, the next thing that you need to understand is that these preset buttons don't make a lot of sense unless they're set up on a percentage basis. So even when you change and select BPM as your default units, these preset buttons here and these preset buttons here will continue to work on a percentage basis. So what I mean by that is if we select, let's go back to default, so it's at 77 BPM. If we select 50% of that, it should be roughly at 37.5, 38%, I think it'll round to. So let's select 50, and indeed, that's where we are, 38.5. These preset buttons continue to work always on a percentage basis, even when you've selected BPM as your default units. The other thing that I wanted to point out here is that these preset buttons can be changed. If you go to the Options button and then go to Program Settings, and you go up here, you can either set percentage or BPM as the default setting. So that will change what appears here every time you open a song, and then you can change your values. So if you wanted to change this from, say, 99% to 90%, you can do that. Click OK. And you can now see that we have these values here and here set at 90%. The last thing that I'd like to point out is that you can actually click in this field and erase these values and then type in 46.78 or whatever value you want, hit the enter key, and it will select that value. So you can actually edit these fields directly and type in any value that you want. One other thing that I guess I've forgotten is that this little slider does a very gross adjustment, so you can go from 10 to 400, and this is the preset button. It takes it back to 100% tempo or 77% in terms of a BPM rate. So that's a real brief overview of this tempo functionality as it is found in Song Surgeon version 5. Hope you found that helpful, and we'll look forward to talking with you again next week. Thanks for watching.